all of the buzz is going to be going. It is going to be a madhouse in Green Bay, Wisconsin, if we get to this point where the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock and Ashton Jeanty is sitting there. And Louis Riddick and Booger McFarland are both going to be looking at you, and so am I, Mel. And I've got tweets here, Ranger Walker, Texas tweets. As a Cowboys fan, I don't want to see them take a running back in the first round when you can get a productive back or two later. Any chance they take an offensive lineman?
Yes.
At Dallas, James tweets, could you see Dallas trading down to take Jeanty or picking another position in the first and a different running back in the second, following Mel's never take a running back in the first round philosophy? Yeah. This is going to be one of the big pressure points of the draft. And then I'm going to say, guys, the pick is in. And in the case of today's mock draft, for Field Yates, with the 12th pick in this mock, the Dallas Cowboys select Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. Young Fielding, you have upset. You have gone against Mel's first rule of drafting. Why?
Because he's the sixth player on Mel's board. He's not that far behind on my board, Greeny. Let me just say this. Whether I would do it does not necessarily align with how the mock draft is going to end up shaking out for each iteration that we see between now and April. Let me start here. Every year, and I think Brock Bowers is the appropriate player to use from last year's class to this year's class with Ashton Jeanty. Brock Bowers was too good of a player to imagine him falling much further than I thought he was a top 15 lock. Now, he got all the way to 13, Greeny. All the way to 13, which, in retrospect, might have been a mistake. Time will tell further, but the guy looks like he's, arguably the best tight end in the NFL already. The reason I bring that up is it wasn't that the Raiders had a significant need at tight end. They drafted Michael Mayer from Notre Dame the year before, 36th overall, one of the highest drafted tight ends in the past few years. It's that some guys transcend your need and are just such good values or such good prospects that you end up taking them. Do the Cowboys have bigger needs outside of running back? They do. Has Rico Dowdle been really good for about a month plus now? Yes, he has. He'll be a free agent, by the way. But Dallas envisions getting back on track in a hurry. They do not plan to be the subject of get up every single morning for the wrong reasons next season, all right? They want you guys talking about them because here we are. We look like the team that Jerry Jones always claims we are. How to get back on track in a hurry? You find instant impact players. Ashton Jeanty will have the best odds over at ESPN Bet. Boost those, baby. He will have the best odds to be the offensive rookie of the year going into next season.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun pick because they have a ton of needs. And talk about the defensive front, edge, inside, corner, wide receiver, offensive tackle, way up there. So Dallas could say, okay, I had 35 running backs. And I still do, 35 running backs with draftable grades. Fielding, you had some even right around that number, maybe a little higher. So I think when you look at, what was your number, Field?
It's right around there. I probably am not.
Right. Some of those names, I'll give you some. Kyle Monangai, Rutgers, right? Damian Martinez, Miami of Florida. Devin Neal, Kansas. R.J. Harvey, UCF. Jonah Coleman, Washington. Ollie Gordon II, off a year where he didn't have the numbers, but the offensive line struggled. He could slip through the cracks. I mean, Aaron Jones was a 5th-round draft pick. Yep. Isaiah Pacheco was a 7th-round pick. You can find these running backs at any point. You got undrafted guys this year going to make teams. We've had it before. We'll have them. Remember, Priest Holmes, heck of a running back in the NFL, one undrafted, came to Baltimore, then Kansas City. My point being, Dallas will look at that group of running backs and say, we got all these backs we really like. Ashton Jeanty's a heck of a player, and he's 6th on my board. Remember, I don't grade a guy on my philosophy. I grade him on ability. Okay, my philosophy would prevent me from taking him, but on ability, he is the 6th best player in this draft. And he's a heck of a player. And he's passionate. He's determined. He's already coming in with a chip because he didn't win the Heisman Trophy, which he said he should have won. So the bottom line here is Jeanty is a heck of a player. Okay, like Ezekiel Elliott was, Bijan Robinson was coming out, right? Oh, Leonard Fournette was, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. They were all great coming out. But in terms of the depth at running back, the needs that this team has, other than running back, what do they do? Because if you look around the NFL right now, most teams have a stable, most teams have 1, 2. They don't have a big need at running back. And that's why a guy like Jeanty, if he gets past Dallas, where does he go? And that's what's going to be really interesting, where the 6th guy on my board, high on your board, Field, is going to drop because of that. So Dallas is pivotal in terms of this whole mock draft or figuring out where guys are going to go if they pass on Jeanty or they take him.
So that's a fascinating one to watch, and it will be the talk of the draft.
I completely agree. There's a handful of players that I think will clearly define this draft. Ashton Jeanty on the short list. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward and Travis Hunter are the leading candidates to define it. I would argue player 4 right now is Ashton Jeanty.
Fascinating, and because of the position he plays, very unlikely to go that high. So this will clearly be one of the big talking points going all the way to the draft.